Welcome to the first official episode of Unchained. I am your host, Jorge Miguel, and this podcast is all about helping people liberate their minds and unlock the path to a life full of fulfillment. Now, today's episode is one that's very important to me, very dear to my heart, and it's about taking that first step. As a matter of fact, this podcast itself is the first step into my journey of speeches and being able to impact people's lives for the positive and be able to help them in ways that I wish people would have helped me. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are doing great jobs with, personal development, financial development, everything to help people, but this is my way of doing it. And I've always had this calling to want to be able to speak to others and impact them for the better. Now, this podcast, the reason why I started it in the first place was because I feel like I have a greater calling. For those of you who do not know who I am a professional dancer who has danced with artists like Osuna, Daddy Yankee, Faruco, Cheyenne, Paulina Rubio, Gloria Trevi. I've been in Miss Universe 2019. I've choreographed films, but only one really came out, which was Father of the Bride. I've done commercials. I've done everything I wanted to achieve in the dance world, but I've always felt this void. And my whole life, I've always been I've always been a leader, a captain. And in the dance world, it's very much about you. Yeah, you can impact others, but it's really about your craft, your art. And this podcast, this journey I'm taking now is really to give back to the community, whether you're a dancer, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're just a person who considers himself a every single day Joe, a regular person. But I want to inspire you to achieve more in life. Today's episode, like I said, is about taking that first step. And the first step is the most crucial step of them all. Obviously, it's the first one. But the reason being is because that first step is the one that allows you to overcome your fear. The first step is the one that allows you to make sure you plant that prep foot to launch into whatever it is that you're going to do. Me personally, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my first step into dancing. I've always danced my whole life since I was a kid. My whole family dances, and I'm someone who decided to take it professionally. Now, when I went into this industry, I didn't go into it what I believe would be the correct way. I feel like the correct way to get into the dance world was, you go to an academy or you go to a studio or you go to a school of arts where you train in different styles, and then, you progressively rise and elevate, and whatever word you want to use for it. But I went into it with the mindset of I don't want to work for people, 9 to 5 corporate jobs, and not be happy. If I'm going to be stressed out, I might as well be stressed out while doing what I love. And that's where this whole journey took me. This is how I ended up here. That mindset. Now, I didn't even know how to start. And I was jumping from job to job. I worked at Sprint. I worked at T-Mobile. I worked at Planet Fitness. I worked at Bank of America. I worked any job you could think of, I did. I was a banker. I was a personal trainer. I did everything. And none of it filled my cup. None of it felt like I was doing my calling. But there was this one thing that kept happening in every single one of those jobs. And in every single one of those jobs, there was some type of PA system playing music, or there was a speaker playing in the back, putting some hip hop, reggaeton, R&B. And I always found myself dancing, even when I was selling products, even when I was helping people make a choice, I was dancing. So people would tell me, hey, why don't you dance? Why don't you dance? And I used to always say, it's that dancing doesn't make money. Dancing doesn't do this. Dancing doesn't do that. Now, here's what happened. One day I was literally bored out of my mind, laying down, and I was like, I'm tired of working for people. What do I have a lot of that I can generate money off of? And what I did was I looked at my contact list, and I saw that I had a lot of people who were very creative. I saw people who were dancers. I saw people who were videographers, photographers. I'm like, you know what? Let me put a show together. when I put this show together, it was very, very scary and a very bold thing for me to do. Why? Because when I wanted to put the show together, I had no funds to make it happen. I didn't even know what it's like or what it took to even put a show together. But here's what inspired me. I was listening to the Elvis Duran show, and they had this person who I forgot who his name was or what the topic was about, but I just know that he was talking about how to set things in the future and then work towards it in order to achieve it. And what he said was, he said, for example, let's say you're someone who wants to make new friends, right? Set a dinner date in whatever restaurant you would like, your favorite, or one that you would like to have dinner in, and make a reservation for 6 people. If you're someone who doesn't know how to make friends, call that restaurant, go ahead and make a reservation for 6 people. You have from this day to that day to make 6 new friends, 5 new friends, including yourself, so that's 6 people, to take to that dinner. And because it's already set in the future, you're working towards it, you're able to, kind of like have a vision or a goal in mind. So when he said that, I was like, damn, okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna do that. So that radio, that episode of Elvis Duran was what catapulted me into doing what I wanted to do. And I promise you, I only had $200 in my account. I call the theater. The theater tells me, okay, the full thing with the production, this and that is $2,000, and the deposit is $200 to hold it. My last $200, I deposited into that project that I had in mind, which was 3 months into the future, and I started going in. Now, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know. I knew people from the dance world, but I wasn't in it. So what I did was I started going to dance classes. I started going to events. I started showing face, and I started inviting people to this event by myself, word of mouth. And fast forward, I ended up getting about 13 studios to perform, 6 individual like acts, like groups, and like one of my friends named Jay Howard, awesome guy performing. I would say he's better than James Brown, but people would say no. But I put this show together, and it was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life. I didn't think I was gonna generate the money, the $2,000. I didn't think I was gonna do this or that. And out of the 800 seats that were in that theater, I sold 600 just by word of mouth. Right? That's an accomplishment that I did, but that was my first step into what would then be my future, which is what I'm about to explain now. What I did was that showed me that taking a step into an unknown field can be achievable. Like, it's doable, right? Especially by yourself. You're not supposed to do it by yourself, but I did it by myself because I didn't know any better. So that first step generated me the money needed to sustain myself for the next 3 months. I quit all my jobs and I went to every audition, every class, every workshop so I can get recognized. And that then took me to my first big music video, which was with Osuna and Cheyenne, and it just catapulted me into everything else. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, right, is because had I not taken that first step into putting the $200 into creating this project, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, which is being able to say that I've toured with Daddy Yankee, right? Visited the world, stayed in hotels, traveled in a private plane, like charter plane. Got to see all these beautiful cultures, got to see all these things that never in my life did I ever think it would be possible to do. Like, to be able to do this or have done it and gotten paid for it is something that people would love to experience at least once in their life. And that was my whole goal going into the dance world. Like, I want to achieve a world tour. And I did it. But had it not been for that first step, I wouldn't have done it. The first step is the scariest one. The first step is the one that you're like, I don't know what people are going to think about. I'm probably going to look stupid. I'm probably going to look horrible. I'm probably going to sound bad. I'm probably going to dance bad. I'm probably going to smell bad. Listen, it's normal. It's normal to feel that way. It's normal because you have to be bad before you're good. You also have to understand the concept of yin and yang, right? And within bad there's good, and within good there's bad. You cannot know what good is until you know what bad is. it's impossible, very rare for people to just jump into something and be great at it. Like, that's luck. Luck is real. But some people have it, some people don't. But don't let that be the reason why you do not take the first step, right? No one ever told me that dancing could take me into seeing different parts of the world. Never would have imagined that. But no one told me where to take the first step. That's I feel like that's the most important thing too. Like, what happens is that people are like, yeah, I'm willing to take the first step. But the first step is so confusing because you don't know if it's here, if it's there, if it's there. The only way to find out is to take it and then take the second and then to take the third. Now, we as human beings and this miraculous creatures that we are, awesome beings, we like to know everything, right? We like to make sure that what we're going to do is going to work, right? But because we're not certain of that, we won't even have the courage to take the first step. I know I've said first step 1,000 times already, but is I feel like it just needs to be reminded, like that that's the most important one. Now, when you do take that first step, you cannot take it with doubt. Whatever you're gonna do it with 100% certainty that it's gonna work. Even if it doesn't work out, you have to go into it with 100%. Like, here's one thing about me. For those of you who know me, you know I like to argue, which I say debate. People say that I argue, which is fine. But even if you think that I don't know what I'm talking about, I talk about it with conviction. I talk about it like if I know. Now, if the person can prove to me that what I'm saying is incorrect, then hey, you know what, brother or sister, you're right. My bad. Thank you for teaching me. But sometimes you just have to have that confidence in what it is that you're saying, but also the wisdom and the humility, right? Humility to be able to admit when you're wrong and you don't know, because that's how you learn. Okay, the first step is so crucial in your learning, in life. It's just the way it goes. But what's beautiful about the first step is that it's gonna build courage. Courage is not um courage is not having fear. Courage is having fear, but going into it with the faith that it's gonna turn out in your favor. Tackling it head on, going into it with faith that God is with you, that you are with you, and that you are capable. There's nothing more powerful than someone who is confident in themselves. Now, that's for a whole other episode, right? Where we're gonna talk about confidence and whatnot, but confidence is crucial in doing whatever it is that you're gonna do. The first step doesn't just apply for your career. It applies into that relationship you want to get into that you're scared of falling in love again because you've been hurt. It applies to your career choice, whether you've been studying 8 years to be a doctor, but all of us.
Okay, I found this on the web for 8 years to be a doctor, but I was. Check it out.
Yo, Siri just interrupted me. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, sorry. Sorry. It doesn't matter if you've been studying 8 years to be a doctor, and then all of a sudden you want to be, I don't know, an eyebrow esthetician, however it is that you say that word. Like, sometimes your calling is something else, and you just are so worried about what other people are thinking about you or how it's even gonna go, but you don't know. You don't know what's gonna come out of it, and that's gonna take me to my second point of this whole episode, and it's going into the unknown, right? Diving into it head first, not knowing that if you're going to fly or not, right? The unknown is beautiful. Going into the unknown allows you to adapt. Human beings are one of the most resilient creatures on this planet. No, we are the most resilient creature on this planet. Our ability to be able to adapt to our environment, to the situations, to nature, to what it is, whatever it is in front of us, is uncomparable to anything on this planet. The brain is insane, right? You have to go into the unknown knowing that you don't know. Honestly speaking, like you have to know that everything is gonna turn out all right. Everything is gonna work out itself. And you always come out of the unknown a little bit more wiser. You come out a little more evolved. And when you come out of the darkness, of the blankness of whatever it is, you don't come back with no information. That's kind of impossible. Literally. Day to day, every single day you wake up, right? You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what result is gonna result in. You don't know, right? Meaning, I'm gonna give an example. Obviously, if you say, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna have eggs, bacon, and bread. You wake up, if there's eggs, bacon, and bread in your kitchen, you'll be able to make it. But the whole point is that what if your stove is not working? What if your fridge didn't cool down the eggs and the eggs were rotten? What if whatever happens disrupts whatever it is that you had planned? Now, are you going to figure it out, or are you going to sit there and sulk about it, right? There's been so many times that for me, the unknown has caught me off guard, but the unknown then turned out to be a blessing, right? I never knew that dance would take me around the world. I thought that dancing, right, was, you're a backup dancer, you're basically enhancing any show that you're dancing in. It's for girls. That's how I was raised, right? Like boys play sports and girls dance, cheerlead, whatever. But nobody told me that through dance you understand, how lighting works, how staging works, how having presence in a specific lighting or a specific manner or a specific gesture can emit this energy to other people, and how you can inspire and motivate people. No one told me that dancing can get you paid to travel around the world and stay in five-star hotels and eat five-course meals for free. No one told me that you can end up being a creative director or an executive producer because now you understand how lighting and camera angles work and what looks good on stage and what doesn't. No one told me that it builds your confidence. No one told me that what I do on a dance stage allows me to then go into the world and project this confidence and security with myself that most people struggle to find or develop. Nobody told me these things, right? Because it's not something that people like break it down to a science or to be able to teach it to someone. And that in itself is what has allowed me to want to continue dancing, but not because I want to show off, but because what it did for me in like my self-esteem and my presence and the way I walk and the way I talk and the way has changed my life. And I want to share that with people, which is the whole point of this whole podcast. Like this whole podcast comes from the confidence and the risk that I've taken in life in order to achieve crazy ideas I had in my head. I wanted to travel, but I didn't know how I was gonna travel. Now here's what's beautiful about the universe. The universe is like a big genie. Okay? Whatever you ask for, you will get. But you have to be specific, right? Not gonna lie, I don't have it all figured out. And that's why I want to make this podcast as realistic as possible, because I feel like a lot of people nowadays want to make it seem like they have it all together. Their relationship is perfect. Their life is perfect. They have the perfect routine. They listen. The one thing I've learned about the entertainment world is that it's all a facade, and it's all about how you project it to the world. Okay, but everyone's a human being. If you as a human being are saying to yourself, "I don't have it figured out. I feel like this. I feel like that. I don't know what to do," there's I think there might be more than 8 billion human beings who are going through the exact same feeling, but different situations. Same shit, different toilet. Okay? You have to understand that you're human. But the universe grants the wishes of those who believe in it, right? If you ask for it, you have to be specific, because when you ask for it, it's gonna come exactly how you wanted it. But you might not get it in the way that you wanted it, right? So the universe grants those who ask for it. It's like this is one quote that says, "Fortune favors the bold." You have to be bold. You have to go into that darkness knowing that in the end of that darkness, there's gonna be a glimmer of light, and maybe sometimes in that darkness, you are the light. You know, sometimes you're the missing piece that was missing. Like you're you're the light that everybody was waiting for. Sometimes everyone is in the darkness of the unknown, and you come in and you light up the path, and now the unknown is no longer the unknown. Now you made it shine. Now you've made it brighter. Now you've made it better. Now you've made it warmer. Now you've made it yours, right? And that's going to take me to my next point, which is the domino effect. When you take that first step into whatever it is that you're going to take it into, knowing that it's going to come out good, whether you know what obstacles are going to come or not, you then develop this sense of empowerment and confidence that's going to impact others. I'm going to give you an example. When I created that whole Kingdom of Dance thing, I had invited, the dance studios, the dance groups, and amongst those groups were, I'm sure you've heard of them. One of them is Michael Lee, stud, awesome dancer, amazing performer. Annalise, Rodriguez, the Rodriguez brothers and sisters. It's two sisters, one brother. Um, and Noah Jacobs. Noah Jacobs, shout out to Noah. He performed in one of those, but he created a group called the Hoodlums. They were a part of a group called Young Legends, but Noah had created his own little thing called the Hoodlums. And Noah one day told me that because of that show, he created the Hoodlums, which now the Hoodlums has allowed him to create the things he's always wanted to create. It's been a canvas for him. It's given him an opportunity to give others opportunities to dance, to learn, to train, to dance dope, to express themselves, to have a community, right? And what's crazy is that my chaos in doing and building that show, right, which I made a lot of mistakes, I burned a lot of bridges. When I went through all of that, it created a blessing for someone that it created a blessing for someone else, right? The kids now have a group to dance in. Now his group is allowing him to do projects for Michael Jackson, for Michael Jackson shows, for all these things. And this all came from a crazy idea that I had in my bedroom because I was bored. Because it was one first step that I took that led me to travel all these things, but it left an open path, right? You have to understand that whether you like it or not, you are always going to impact somebody. The moment you were born, you are attached to something or someone. It's just the way it is. We have lately been told that we could do things on our own. Whether you're a male, female, whatever it is that you are, in the end of the day, you're a human being. Human beings are not designed to be alone. You didn't come into this world alone, and yeah, you might leave being a coffin alone, but someone has to dig that hole. Someone needs to build that coffin. Someone needs to turn on the furnace to turn into ash. Someone needs to write. We're intertwined. We're on this planet all in one place, and we need one another. Right now, when you take the first step into doing whatever it is, and you come out of that unknown, you come out wiser. And some people are destined to help others and teach others, and some people just keep it to themselves. Whichever one it is fine. But if you do decide to go down the path to help someone, which it's gonna happen, because you're human and you love, right? You're capable of loving. You're gonna share that experience with someone. You're gonna share what you learned and what mistakes you made with someone, so that hopefully they don't make that mistake. I've had so many people tell me, thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for having the confidence with me. Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for pushing me. I did all those things because I wish someone would have done it for me. And when they did do it for me, the impact and the amount of respect and love that I had for that person is priceless. Like, they can count on me for anything. I would be there for them no matter what. And that's something that you build, right? That trust and that love, it transcends time. And that's the beauty of being a human. You there's no perfect human being. This is something that I came up with. I don't know if someone ever said this. Um but here's something what I've always said. You don't see the perfect that someone sees in you. Okay? Perfection is being observed and someone saying, okay, you know what, that's what I consider perfect and whatnot. But it's like, it's impossible for you to think that you're perfect, but there's someone else who thinks that you're perfect. There's someone else who loves exactly who you are. There's someone out there who's looking for the one thing that you're hesitating to put out there. They just haven't found the right person. I've always said, don't sell water to the person who doesn't want to buy water. They want to buy water, great. If they want to buy juice, go to the juice guy, right? Because we get so caught up on trying to convince the ones that are ignoring us. That's just, we're curious human beings, right? We like to we like to know what we don't know, which is hope, which is life, right? That's just what we are. But it could be a downfall. It can stop you from reaching your potential and trying to please those people who don't believe in you, right? Focus on the ones who do believe in you, because your mistake, right, is a human experience that someone on this planet is going to commit the exact same thing, because we as human beings repeat history, right? History repeats. But when you learn from your mistakes and then you're able to help somebody, you kind of change. No, you not kind of, you do. You impact the future, right? Someone's gonna be grateful for it. Someone's gonna appreciate it. Someone's gonna save a life, which is hopefully this whole podcast does, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to impact people's lives from my mistakes, right? Your mistake can be someone else's blessing. Let that simmer. Your mistake can be someone else's blessing. That's why parents are so important, even though we take them for granted, right? Like, they've already made all the mistakes. That's why they try to stop you. Sometimes when people don't listen or they don't want to take advice from people, I always then flip it on them. I then say, can you say that however old you are, let's say right now you're 25, can you say that right now at 25 you're the same person as you were at 19? Every person says no. I'm like, okay. Now I ask them, can you say that 25-year-old you is the same as 24-year-old you? They're like, no. I'm like, okay. So would you give your 24-year-old self an advice? They say, yeah. And I'm like, okay, so imagine your parents who have 20 years above you. Like, there's a reason why they're telling you what they're telling you, right? The whole point is that their first step was probably making you, right? And now they want to share their experiences with you, which is what happens with a lot of families and a lot of people, which I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But the whole point is that their experience and their mistakes, they want to share with you so that you don't go through the pain or you don't go through whatever it is they went through. And if you listen to them, they then feel empowered and they feel like great parents. Now, the same thing goes for you. You're building your knowledge, your wisdom, you're building it. And you can only build it by going through it, whether it's life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business choice, whether it's a career choice, whatever it is, you have to go through it, but you cannot hesitate on that first step. Just go for it. Go for it. Okay? You need to believe in yourself, trust yourself, love yourself, and most importantly, whatever you've done in the past, forgive yourself. Because the world is already shitty as it is. It's already at war. You cannot be at war with you. I've been there. I've been in that dark place of doubting and beating myself up and self-sabotaging. But how can I do that to me when every single day I come back to me? I need to be my safe space. I need to be my home. I need to feel okay with myself. It already happened. Make it better, right? So just take into consideration those things I just told you. Make sure that you're okay. Seek help. Ask for advice. Don't do it alone, because the same way that you are going to impact someone else's life, someone needs to impact yours. And they're going to impact yours through their experiences, through their mistakes. So connect, learn, love, laugh, forgive. But most importantly, you need to live. Live your life. Be bold. Fortune favors the bold. Be bold. So, with that being said, to close this episode, I want to thank you for listening to my first episode on Unchained. And I'm gonna tell you, man, all day I've been shitting bricks. This podcast was meant to come out a long time ago, but here's my first step, like I told you. And you're on this journey with me, so I can't wait to share it. I can't wait to grow it. I can't wait to touch people's hearts and change people's lives. So thank you. Share it with someone that you think needs to hear this. Share it with someone that needs a reminder that we're all human. We're all figuring it out in this game called life. So don't forget to drop a thumbs up, drop a comment on any topics that you want to hear about, and subscribe as, my first subscribers. But besides that, thank you once again. The next episode is going to be about seeking validation and how that can be someone's downfall. All right, so make sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. And I want to give a quick explanation. Reason why I want to do it Monday, 7 p.m. is because I'm sure people already have their motivational speeches and stuff they listen to in the morning. And after they come out of work, they're probably stressed and and over it. I want you to be able to listen to this podcast and give you like that second boost of the day for Monday. And then when the week passes by and you're kind of like over and you forgot everything you listened to, Thursday, midweek, you're able to listen to me again and be able to get reminded as to what you should listen to or what you should do next and not forget. Because we're human. We get stressed and overwhelmed about life. And I'm here to help and support you and be kind of like your life coach slash guru guide. I'm not a guru, but your guide to just cruise through life and be chilling about it, honestly. All right. So for those of you who are new to the channel and new to the podcast, welcome to Unchained, where liberation meets inspiration. And may you have a wonderful and blessed day. Ciao.